Hello, one and all, and welcome to Brunch with BIgfoot Michigan Rob. I, of course, am your host, BMR. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to BIgfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube, Texas Front Porch on YouTube, and the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast found on YouTube. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, KPNL Radio, also wherever podcasts are found. If you like and want to help support the channel, of course, the Super Chat is always open. It's a great way to help support what we all do around here. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check out our About pages for our lineups and activities and everything that we do have going on here. I do appreciate that. And speaking of what we have going around here, of course, on Mondays is Texas Front Porch at 9 o'clock in the East. Tuesday night, me and Krista beyond BMR 9 o'clock in the East. And Thursdays is Brunch with BIgfoot Michigan Rob 1 o'clock in the East. Thursday nights, tonight, the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast. They come on Thursdays at 9 in the East. I got to tell you guys, the Blondes and the Booze, please subscribe if not already. They've got a great February lineup going on. Co-hosting all week with them is Josh Turner. They'll be doing a lot of cool stuff on the show, so that's going to be fabulous. Subscribe to the Booze. It'll be a fabulous, fabulous shows. And if you need more woo with the Booze, they come back on Friday nights. At 9 o'clock, the Blondes, the Booze, and the Woo. And, of course, Sundays, another change in the lineup. Sundays, you got Truth or Tinfoil on Texas Front Porch and on the Truth or Tinfoil channel. So they're streaming on two platforms. That's Brandy and Randy. You can catch them 5 o'clock in the East on Sunday. And, of course, text us his little thing, Infamous Minds, 6 o'clock. In the East. Before I get the show rolling, I'll let you know what's going to happen here today. I've got to, of course, remind everybody coming up in June is, of course, the Alabama Bigfoot Conference, June 7th and 8th. The speaker lineup is Tex Wessons, our master of ceremonies, Bart Nunnally, Daryl Denton, the Blondes and the Booze, Jason McLean, Greg Ogles, Martin Groves, and yours truly, BIgfoot Michigan Rob, will all be there speaking. Tickets are $30 online, $35 at the door, and that is, of course, at the Anniston Performing Arts Center. So hopefully some of you folks can make it. And June 7th, we're having a get-together. Now, the get-together, it's a dinner. It's already booked already. Can you imagine? It's February 1st. and the dinner engagement's booked. However, we'll not turn you away at the door. We just want to get an idea of the count, the reservations, and I think 40 people have RSVP'd to this dinner. If you have not RSVP'd and you're in Alabama, please come on down. If you look to the website, you'll find out where we'll be at. Also, I want to thank everybody who's bought my book, BIgfoot Michigan Rob Presents True Cryptid Encounters, Book 1. Find it on Amazon. For those of you who bought it, thank you. For those that have indeed bought it, you'll be getting Amazon will send you an email. Leave a review, because that does help promote sales of the book, of course. Thank you, Sherry Griffey. Now I'm back here in chat. Thanks, Sherry Griffey, for that awesome super chat to get the show started. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. It's great. It would help support what we do around here. And so here we are, brunch with BIgfoot Michigan Rob. It's Thursday, 1:00. And it's a solo show today. And, here's the thing. Typically, I have a guest on. And I had a last-minute cancellation. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. That happens. Life goes on. I don't mind speaking with my co-host or by myself. I can do these things solo. I can run a show. My co-host, Brandy, my new co-host, by the way, on this show, she's got an erratic work schedule, so she couldn't make it. So I was thinking back. So I've got an hour. I've got an hour to plan a show. And I got to tell you guys, when we do these shows, whether it's my show, Texas show, or the Blonde show, we put a lot of time into these things. So to get walloped with a cancellation less than 48 hours or 24 hours before showtime, you got to think about what can we do to get a show going, right? And this is an hour. An hour, I find out, oh my Lord, and I don't have a co-host, because me and Brandy could talk about whatever. So what does Rob want to do? So I had to put a show together. And I've been doing this particular show. This is my original show. I've been doing this for 2 years, and I've never canceled a show. So here are my options. Option 1, don't do a show. Well, that was not going to happen. Option 2, run a replay. That's not going to happen either. Okay. Option 3 is go live and come up with some material for my amazing audience, my audience that listens and my audience that participates and comes into chat. So again, I've only missed Thursdays because that's Thanksgiving. So there's never a show on Thanksgiving. I'm not going to miss a show. Only other times I've missed shows, you guys, if I've had a power outage or bad internet. That's it. So I've scheduled this, so I got to keep my schedule true to form. So I was thinking, well, you know what? Perhaps I'll talk a little bit about my book, right? For those that have bought it, thank you. The link for the book is pinned here. And if any of my mods want to drop it throughout the show, thank you. So, and typically when I do a show, when I talk about a story, I usually don't like read anything, because I have a pretty good memory. And I decided to turn the tables just a little bit, because what I want to do, I got a few stories for this, for you guys. So I am going to read it as I wrote it, just to give you a flair for how the book flows. And most people that read are kind of boring. I don't think I'm boring. I practice reading and speaking impromptu. So for this, and also we have a podcast. And so people that don't get the visual when the podcast goes out, I mean, they can hear it in its entirety. Because when I do it from memory, I miss out on a lot of the descriptive words, right? That I like. That's part of the book. So this book was a part of me and a part of the fabulous subscribers and emails that I got when I put the book together. So I'm gonna do some stories. I'm gonna read them. I'm gonna look at chat. I can't pay attention to everybody in chat simply because I'm gonna concentrate on the task at hand. And at the end of the story, I'll give you my take. If anybody has any questions, again, I'm not ignoring you because, quite frankly, I want to put out some good quality, so I'll be concentrating on this. And before we get going, I do want to thank Catherine Gay for coming on in. Pamela Stefanich is in chat room. I'm just going breezing through this really quick. Catherine Gay, Lily, Patty. Hey, Lily. A lot of the same people. Sherry Griffey, once again, thank you for that amazing super chat to get the thing going. Edith Gomez, how are you today? Scott M. Yay, Scott M. Always great to see you, Scotty. James Fatke, thank you for coming in. Daddy Staten, greetings from South Carolina. Love you, love you, love. Hey, love you. Always fabulous to see you, my friend. Zoe, maybe that's how you say it, Zoe. ND Southpaw, thanks for coming on in. A great supporter of the show. Lisa Smith, hey, Lisa, I'm doing great. Ozzy Sue, thanks for coming on in, Ozzy Sue. Who else? Scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down. Well, it says I got 30 of you in chat already, and I'm only pulling up a certain amount of you here that I can see. So if I'm missing you, I do apologize. And of course, a lot of people that are in chat, their names aren't pulling up. But with Roger Blair, John P. Adventures, thank you, Johnny P., for coming on in. Roger Blair, Freaky Geek, of course. Awesome Freaky Geek. Philip Miller. All right. I know there's more piling in already. The chat is starting to roll a little bit. So again, everybody, I'm gonna do a few stories from my book. And again, not to bore you, I can do them from memory, but I feel, for the podcast side and so you all get an idea. I don't want to miss out on any of the descriptions in this, okay? What I'll do, I'm going to go through it and then I'll give you a take and we'll move on. Again, a little different for me. No guest cancellation last minute, no co host. And I was not going to cancel the show simply because of that. Because as they say, the show must go on. So thanks for coming in. I'm going to start with this story for everybody, okay? And it's, of course, in the book. And this is about the Louisiana monster. And this happened early. And here's how the story goes. Early summertime of 2001, my brother Steve and I, call me Ron, were hiking in the bayous of Louisiana. I'm not going I'm not going to say the exact location despite not giving my real name. The folks of this particular location have been spooked for decades, and still, I am a member of this community. I was 32 years young back then and have waited to email you this forever, Rob. I am now 53 years old, and this is the first time I have ever written about this. I have been waiting to find a source to offer my encounter. I decided to elect you, Rob. Many people do this. I find you to be the best. Well, first of all, thank you so much for that. I feel you're genuine and do not discriminate. I appreciate all you do and what your group does, including Tex and the Blondes. Steve and I have taken our swamp boat deep into the bayou looking to do some gator hunting. Our boat back then was very loud and distractive. Because of this, when we were close to our hunting area, we would, we would shut, I got to scroll down here. Again, doing this live, you know. Okay, we would shut it down and drift for several hours to ensure that our disturbance would be unfounded. This location for years was deemed taboo, and that many strange hauntings have plagued this area. Many a man has come back shaken and confused, with little words uttered. And speaking with this old man Jasper, I had told him where we planned to travel. He emphatically urged me not to go there, not to go to this spot. In fact, he implored me. He implored me to go to any spot but there, that location. I was always intrigued by the legend, and old man Jesper got my juices flowing. We reached the spot early around 5:30 a.m. We shut down the motor and drifted down the swampy waterways for about an hour, occasionally using a paddle to keep upon a straight path. The tree line, vegetation. Okay, I just lost my. The tree line, the vegetation, and the incredibly silent bayou gave me chills. Not a sound could be heard. This was very odd. It was a warm day, but I had caught a chill. This never happens in the swamp, as it always has it's always hot and humid, with perspiration continuing to roll down our back. This was different. It was cold, and my sweat from earlier gave me the feeling of an ice cube being rubbed up and down my spine. I looked to my brother Steve, and he was actually shaking from the cold and pleaded with me to turn back. He said, Ron, something is lurking from the boggy shoreline, and it feels unnatural. Certainly, with the both of us being cold, this alone was not right. I decided that my brother was right. I went to fire up the boat and get the hell out of there. Then, upon attempting to start the vessel, it would not turn over. From the shoreline of the swamp, we heard a sinister, almost witch like laugh. A laugh that seemed to be mocking us. Steve and I felt uneasy and started to panic as this shrilling laughter got louder and appeared to get closer, and still our craft would not start. I looked to the edge of the swamp and tried to find the source of this haunting laughter when suddenly I saw a figure of what appeared to be a man. But this man had the head of a giant dog or wolf. The creature was jet black with high pointed ears and a snout much longer than any dog or wolf that I had ever seen. It then proceeded to walk parallel to the shoreline on two legs, and it appeared to be carrying something. Of what this was, I could not clearly see. Lovey, I know you're not laughing at me. I can't read chat when I'm reading this, but thanks, love. Thanks for coming on in. Again, he could not clearly see. Hi, Krista. The beast then disappeared back deeper into the swamp's edge out of sight. I went back to try and start the boat, keeping my eyes to shore, when suddenly what appeared to be the dead carcass of an alligator kept flying from the shoreline, landing not less than 3 feet from the boat. The gator's jaws were both snapped backwards, and its bowels were distanced or disemboweled from its body. I was horrified. I looked back into the woodline, and that laughter started up again and eventually dissipated, and all went silent. Miraculously, I got the boat started, and without haste, I sped back to where I felt safe. I don't know what this was, Rob, but I tell you what, that's the first time that I ever felt evil. I don't know, man. That's pretty creepy. You know, I've heard about stories in Louisiana, the Rougarou and things of that nature. This man talks about this beast having a wolf-like, dog-like head. Can you imagine? Can you guys imagine this? Out there gator hunting. And again, gator hunting is something done much like I going to the river to go fishing, right? These guys do this on a daily basis. To see this creature with an alligator tucked away under his arm, with its jaws ripped. Just like remember that movie King Kong? We'd fight these prehistoric beasts, these dinosaurs, and he would take his hands and just clasp down on the lower and upper jaws or rip them apart. Can you imagine seeing that? I don't know. I thought that was a pretty cool story. Again, these stories I present here in my book, Bigfoot Michigan Rob Presents True Cryptid Encounters on Book One. If you're just coming in, it's a little different show for me today. No guests, late bit of cancellation. My beautiful co-host, well, she's working. Yes, Candy. Hi, Candy. For all you coming in late, hi, Candy. Hi, Freaky. Again, I saw Lovey. I saw Krista. If I missed you, I'm sorry because I got these stories in front of me. So I'm not dismissing you at all, as you well know. I can't see everybody. So yeah, I mean that's creepy. I don't know that I could imagine that. Don't forget to subscribe. Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube if you're new here. The Blondes and the Booze and Texas Front Porch. The Blondes, Josh Turner for all month of February, Thursday night. Gonna be fantastic. I'm going to continue on. So that's my take on this. This story here in the book, I think you guys are really going to like this. This is entitled "Those Red Eyes Followed Us Home." Those red eyes followed us home, and this is starts on like this. Everybody, thanks for coming on in. I do appreciate it. Impromptu show, not impromptu. Cancellations all over the place. BMR winging it. June 8th, 2008, Rockford, Illinois, Rock Cut State Park. Rob, my name is Bill, and my wife is Judy, residents of Rockford. The state park is less than 7 miles from our home. For the past several years, starting in 2001, we often visited this park to hike, go camping, and get in some fishing. It has become one of our favorite spots because of the close proximity to our house. And frankly, it has some of the best scenery in Rockford. At least this is this man's opinion. Hi, no. The drive from the house also is magnificently lined with pine and spruce trees, amongst the other fresh green ambiance and the beautiful fall colors in October. In fact, June and October are usually the 2 months that we like to camp, while the other months we love to hit the trail and enjoy the outdoors. The smells of nature is really what Judy loves, and in fact, this is where I met her in June 2001. Now it turns into a love story, everybody. Just kidding. Of all the places to fall in love, he says, a wooded trail in Rockford. It was love at first sight, and we were married the following summer of 2002. The years of 2002 through 2007, camping and hiking at Rock Cut State Park was nothing less than spectacular. These were the best years of our early marriage. Something changed, however, during the summer of 2008. That summer, we were forced to find another spot to set up camp. We were disappointed that we had to move from this camping area due to the fact that the state had decided to construct a welcome center and built a 200-foot tower observatory. So Judy and I were off to find a new spot. And after several weeks of exploring, we came across a beautiful location 10 miles north of our original location. A creek ran through the spot and had a trail that was heavily traversed by deer roaming through the area. The creek proved to be a great source of trout and smallmouth bass. Lily, no, it does not come in audiobook. I just did happen to see that. That's why I'm practicing today. Maybe I should do an audio format of this. You guys let me know. I don't like my voice. I don't know if I'm a good narrator. So please, just bear with me. Thanks for coming on in, everybody. Back to the story. The creek proved to be a great source of trout and smallmouth bass, okay, that we could catch and prepare for our meals. Judy and I, when we went camping, traveled lightly. When it came to packing, we brought some dried foods, some canned vegetables, the appropriate clothing, and lots of coffee. We only brought a small amount of water, as Judy loved to drink from the creek after we appropriately filtered it. Judy always said, "Be one with nature." Kind of one of the kind of one of the first things. Uh, Trying to watch you guys in chat and read this. I lost my place. Judy loved to. Okay, kind of one of the first things that attracted me to her was her love of nature and living off the land. The time had finally come to Kristen, our new site, and planned a week-long vacation in June of 2008. The first day in our new haven, we spent the entire morning fishing and just enjoying the deer that roamed across the creek in full view. This we thought was perfect, and we warmed up right away to our new abode. Thanks, Spartan. Appreciate that, brother. And now, going back to the story, now I got to switch over. Okay. Again, they're sitting here. Now it's time. These guys are ready to start about their new dwelling here. And I'm just going back to this spot really quick. Just bear with me. Live shows like this, you guys. First time I've done it like this. I love you all. Thanks. Judy always said, "Be one with nature." Okay. Day one. Okay. Day one was just perfect. So these everybody they're their new location. They had to move from their other location because that tower was set up. They fell in love a couple years prior. They're a happy couple. Now they're out in this new area that they moved to, but they found it to be perfect. So here we go the next morning, everybody. The following morning, we got up and went back to our fishing spot, but that day felt strange. It was overcast, and a slight drizzle started coming down on us. Unlike the previous day, we did not see any deer, and Judy told me that she felt as though from across the creek that there was something there. Thank you, Catherine Gay. Not only that there was something there, but peering in and watching them. I did have this feeling and told Judy it was just her imagination. After an hour, my mind changed, as I too felt a presence. It could not put a finger on it for the entire week. We had felt something foreboding and ominous. Not to ruin our day, we preserved and kept about our camping and our fishing. It was not until driving home that is where this whole story really takes a turn. Hi, Christy. I had made mention earlier, Rob, that the drive to this campsite was lined with trees on either side of us, and it was a peaceful ride all the way to our driveway. Yes, all the way to our home and to our driveway. Yes, we live in the woods, and this is what makes us love living so close to Rock State Park. During the drive, 20 to 25 miles per hour, I felt this presence of being watching us. Despite driving in our vehicle at 25 miles an hour, something was there. It was like something was following us from the wood line, keeping pace with the vehicle. I felt this to be absurd, And I turned to Judy and she said, "Stop the truck. Something in the woods has been following us." She kind of shouted at me. Now my gut felt as though it had been punched. We were on the same wavelength, making this extremely creepy. We stopped. We got out of the truck and looked into the woods. After about 10 minutes of nothing, Judy said, "Bill, look there." I looked towards the tree line, and perhaps 10 feet deep or so, I saw two massive red eyes staring back at us, unlike anything I've ever seen. I urged Judy to get back into the truck, and I kid you not, we continued to see these eyes paralleling the car, keeping up, now at 15 or 20 miles per hour. We're now about 15 minutes from our home, and we still sporadically saw those red eyes. So everybody, these red eyes, I mean, it's at a pace anywhere from 15 to 20 miles an hour, peering in at them from the wood line, red glowing eyes, you guys. Finally, I had enough and accelerated to 40 miles per hour. And to my amazement, those eyes, they continued to follow us. It lasted at 45 miles an hour, you guys, for 20 seconds. Then they finally disappeared. It was such relief when we got back home. Still on the edge, still being on edge, we left our vehicle unpacked to save for the morning. After settling in our home, Judy made some coffee and we went out on our wraparound porch. Our home sits right in the middle of a half acre, right in the our home sits in the middle of the woods on a half acre lot with the woods on both sides of us. In fact, you have to drive about 20 minutes south of our home before you can get out of the woods to a local gas station or shopping area. Then, after drinking our coffee and getting ready to turn in for the night, out in the tree line, those glowing red eyes appeared, perhaps 4 feet above the ground. Judy and I were paralyzed with fear, and the eyes got close. And the closer that these red eyes got, the taller the figure appeared until it stopped. Not 5 feet outside the tree line, what we saw, it gives me chills to this day. Sitting atop a rather slim frame was what appeared to be an oversized wolf's head, and it was standing upright. You could distinctly see pointed ears that had to stand straight up at least a foot or so. The head was wolf-like, yet misshapen. Then it dropped to all fours and raced back into the woods, howling an awful, dreadful howl, not like any wolf I've ever heard. The reason I can see this so clearly is because the moon is in back of this creature. It was high moon and bright, and it was very bright that night, giving off full illumination. The weird thing is, we don't have wolves in these parts. Hi, Scott's Life. The next morning, I went to the tree line where I saw this entity, wolf or whatever it was. I found no sign of anything, no tracks, no broken foliage, nothing. I even walked at least 20 yards back into the tree line, and still nothing. Judy and I have never seen this again, but sometimes late at night, we hear that dreadful howl that shakes your inner core, as if it's trying to remind us that is there, that it's there watching. To answer your question, Rob, which I'm sure you want to ask me, is this: do we feel that we are being watched? Rob, I got to tell you this. Yes, every day. The strange thing is this: we do not have a single intention on moving or selling our place. And that may be stranger than this story. So first of all, there's something going on with this. I gotta thank really quick Sherry Griffey, Barton Nunnally, and Catherine gave your awesome super sticker. And I'm glad Barton's in here today because subscribe to Inhumanoids Barton Nunnally on YouTube, by the way. He does a live show every Wednesday and does a fantastic job. Him and his wife, along with the booze. And Barton is an Inhumanoids guy. And Barton, if you're out there still listening, definitely Inhumanoid, right? I mean, this is something I don't know. Can you imagine? First of all, they've got this couple. They fall in love at this beautiful park in Rockford. Then they put up, then the state decides to put up a tower or observatory. Then they've got to find another spot. They find another spot a few miles north of there. Then they get creeped out. Something felt ominous. They pack it up. They decide to move. They decide to get out of here. I don't know about you guys listening to this story. If a set of red eyes follow me at speeds from 15 miles an hour to 40 miles an hour all the way home, then you get home, and yes, the eyes vanish. But the next day, or whenever it was, excuse me, I have to go back. But the next day to see these eyes at your home, whatever this was, follow these people, and then it comes out and stands, and you can see a full inhumanoid, as Barton would say. He says a werewolf, a dog man. Well, I say dog man. I don't know what this thing is. Staring in. And really, and they make mention that they don't move. I don't know that I would move either, you guys. I mean, who I don't know. Things happen in life. There's reasons why we stay where we live. If I saw red eyes follow me X amount of miles home, then I get home and those red eyes turn into some thing that I've never seen in my life, I think I would either A, investigate it, or B, get the heck out of there. Because to me, that's not right. That's not a cryptid. Maybe it's some evil entity. I don't know what that is. Candy, yeah, I'd flip out. Thanks, Moon, for coming in. Barton for coming in. No, Christy Sci-Fi. Again, you guys, I had a cancellation, a guest cancel last minute. My co-host is working, so I never take Thursday off except for Thanksgiving, so it's a little different format for me. So I'm doing some couple stories from my book. Again, thanks to everybody who's bought it. I appreciate that. When Amazon comes coming, please leave a review because that does help promote the sales. Don't forget to subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob if you're new here. The Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast. Texas Front Porch and Barton Nunnally in Humanoids every Wednesday night live. He does a great job. Thanks for coming in. And I've got another one I'm going to talk about here for you guys. And again, I appreciate this. The show must go on, as they say. The show must go on. Hey, Danny Staten, how you doing? If I missed you, I apologize. And again, thanks for the super chats. Great way to support what we all do around here. I'm going to go on to another one that's in the book. These are out of the book. And again, typically, you guys, I like to not read them. I like to tell them from memory, but I can't remember everything of these 50 stories. So I like to make sure the detail is there for you guys. The description, what these people are feeling. Because I don't know about you guys. That's why I love doing this book, because every story in this book, and there's many, I didn't put them all in the book. The ones that I put in this book are the ones that tugged at my heart a little bit. Because as you all know, what happened to me was crazy. And the reason why I wrote the book, the reason why I do this channel is because these stories need to be heard, right? These stories need to be heard. There are things out there that we don't know what they are. And if people tell you they know what they are, well, I I don't know that I buy that 100%, right? A lot of us in this chat room have seen Bigfoot or Dogman or ghosts or paranormal or inhumanoids. That's my other new term now with my friend Barton. All sorts of crazy phenomena. That's why I do these shows. That's why I write the book. Book 2, by the way, is going to be coming out in June. Just to let you know. So take advantage of this book because the book price will probably be going up in summer. It's right now only $12.99 on Amazon. And if you like Kindle, it's $9.99. The link to my book is pinned in this chat. You can also find it at the end of this video or in my YouTube channel. I've got another cool story. Thanks for coming in once again. This is a pretty cool story. This is Tribal Tom and the Sasquatch. And this happens on here. Here I'll go with the story. Thanks, Noah, for dropping the links. I see that. Again, if I can say hi to you guys, I just can't see everybody. So I appreciate you for coming in and subscribing. Tribal Tom and the Sasquatch. Washington State Park near Mount Rainier. This is the fall of 2017. In a report issued by a man who wants to remain anonymous, we can refer to him as John, who tells the story of Bigfoot roaming the depths of Bumping Lake in Washington State. So this is on the Pacific Northwest. John lives in a village in Washington where the majority of his residents are that of the Yakama tribe for several decades. Throughout the years, John has spent many a night sitting around the campsite listening in on the elders. Strange stories of Sasquatch and many paranormal sightings that have been witnessed during the years. John felt honored after a decade living amongst the people of Yakama that they finally let him sit in on many of these stories, and in particular, quickly became friends with his neighbor and most respected of all in the tribal community. The two men became such good friends that John affectionately called his neighbor Tribal Tom. One night during a campfire, John was engrossed in the night storytelling and whispered into Tom's ear, "I need to experience one of these tales," right? The next morning, John got his wish as Tribal Tom stopped over while John was finishing his first cup of coffee. When Tom told him, "You have an hour to get ready." John excitedly knew what his friend meant and started to pack for his adventure. It took about 2 hours to hike from where John left his car and was accompanied by Tribal Tom and three other men from the Yakama tribe. Upon arriving at a spot that suited their camping needs, and to set up their camp, Tom told John that we were going to take you to a sacred spot. Tom was excited, but a little bit concerned, as he thought perhaps they would start fresh in the morning, as darkness had already befallen. But without question, he made no complaints, and they started their hike where Tom estimated to be about a mile or so in. Tribal Tom had mentioned to the group to stop the hike and to crouch down in a small clearing with an animal trail that was beaten down where deer had traveled, and gazed out into the forest. The moon helped to shed some light, mainly casting shadows of several deer that had crossed the path in front of them. 1 hour had passed. Then John had spotted a dark shadow of something very tall with a conical shaped head peer out from behind a tree. In an effort to get a better view, John reached for his night vision and focused on the shadow that he had spotted. To his exclaim, the shadow gave him exactly what he had been waiting to see. More clearly, it was Bigfoot, as the writer writes. It was tall and muscular, pointed head, and covered almost entirely in hair. Half of the body was covered in hair, but visible without a doubt. This was a Sasquatch. John turned to Tribal Tom, who already seemed to know what John was experiencing by his expressions, and motioned back to Tom to continue looking through the night vision lenses. Looking a second time at this creature now in focus, what appeared to be green orbs were dancing all about the figure in the woods. The mysterious shadow now took on an entirely different look. Still tall with a conical shaped head, the beast took on a more digitized appearance and slowly disappeared right in front of his eyes. Rain started to fall as a group of men headed back to the campsite with Tom's adrenaline flowing at maximum levels. With the rain subsiding, the men drew a fire and Tom reflected on what he had seen. Tribal Tom simply grinned, a wide grin, and told John, "You are now a knower." Yeah, that was a pretty cool story. Again, when we go back and talk about these First Nations, there's so vastly different opinions and stories we all hear. Some suggest it's folklore, and different tribes, different First Nations. Some believe that Bigfoot or Sasquatch is spiritual in nature, right? Some view it as being a human, an ancient human without paranormal abilities. In this particular story, has elements of both spiritual, the manifestation. I think it's a cool story. And I got to tell you, I love talking to people of the First Nations, and I've encountered the spiritual side and just the Bigfoot that protect the forest. And I've heard about the Sasquatch that appear in their minds, in their visions, right? Tell them about the legend, tell them about how the earth, the land used to be and why they're there. Now, again, from different opinions, we all have different opinions on any of these cryptids, any of these inhumanoids, any of these paranormal entities. It's such a the stories I get, you guys, are so vast. They range from paranormal to flesh and blood to everything in between, from demonic, right, to ghosts. They also appear as things in the forest that present a falsehood, where perhaps you're looking at a Bigfoot, but it's really a demonic entity, or maybe it is. Maybe it's something from the past. I believe that people speak with these things. I believe I've got friends that do communications with them, and I hear them and I listen to them. I've never experienced it. And I have others that never heard a thing. There's people that have researched 30, 40 years in the subject, never seen anything, right? I want to thank everybody for coming in. Today was, not the typical BMR brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob show. Again, I had a cancellation on a guest. My co-host had to work, and I had like an hour to put a show together, right? And I had an hour to put a show together, and I was not going to not do a show. I was not going to put up a replay for you guys. So I decided, you know what? I'll just do some stories from my book, which I'm very proud of, and present them to you. I hope you enjoyed those. The only Thursday I only take off on this is Thanksgiving. And I've never missed a Tuesday night show either, unless it's weather or I lose power. I hope you guys like that. Again, it was a little different. Um, and I hope you enjoy. I enjoy doing that. I want to thank. I'm not going to go 90 minutes because I just want to do 3 stories. The rest of the stories in the book, I got 50 stories. Sherry, Barton, Catherine, thanks for the super chats. No, I want to thank you for dropping the links for my team and for the book and such. The link for this book's pinned up top and in my YouTube channel. Again, I wanted to do something for you guys because you expect me every 1 o'clock on Thursday, and I was not going to disappoint. So it was different. We'll be back to our regular format starting up next week. Next Tuesday, I got a great show. I've got Ronald Murphy. I have a combo guest, Ronald Murphy, the cryptid guru, and Miss Selene, an author. They're collaborating on a project and some research in a book. That should be a fantastic show. And so I'm looking forward to having them on Tuesday night at 9. Please subscribe to BIgfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube, the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal podcast on YouTube. Tonight, they got Josh Turner co-hosting for the all month of February. That should be fascinating. So go tune in. The Blondes and Booze just hit 2,000 subscribers. They're like at 210. So thanks for helping them out. Barton Nunnally, Wednesday nights live. Subscribe to Barton. Awesome guy. Of course, Texas Front Porch. Subscribe to them. Again, I appreciate this. I wanted to do something instead of not having a show. So not as long as a typical show, but we'll be back up and running our normal format next week. I appreciate it. I'm glad I did this. Thank you for all the support. And until next time, I am BIgfoot Michigan Rob. And as good old Tex will say, got to find the button. Have a great day. Thank you.